And I'm just going to make sure that when I'm putting the blade on here, I'm not getting wheel marks in it. And it's not really that critical. I can be a little further out, but hell, I'm just gonna, I think, fold that a couple times, put it here, just to, that's gonna give me a little space on the top. Tighten that, and then, of course, if you tighten it, I have a special little deal to do this, and I'm just gonna, but for this, I'm just gonna say, you know what, that's out a little bit, and hell, that's out a little bit, or a lot of it, either way. There it is.
Second set of hand straps?
Nah, my Platin's warped because hell, I've been using it for probably 4 years. The plate, you know. I've never surface ground it, never whatever. I just keep using it.
I know where you can get a good surface ground.
You know, I do, you know, and hell, I got, but you know, it's you got to see the longevity with zero maintenance. So, okay. Now, if I put on my Platin, I'm a little more gap than I'd really normally go, but I'm ready to finish that sucker, and so good enough there. And oh hell, there's a 60. I could use an 80, but I see 60s. Ah hell. Let's do it. Skipping steps in a demo is a bad idea. So, okay. There's probably a better Platin. So I got my Cool Mist here again, and the Cool Mist just nice. It's just, do I really need it here? No, but it makes it nice. So I'm just set up here. Now where's that blade? So first off, I gotta, without the magnet, I have this ledge here I gotta fix, and I have this ledge on my cutting edge. So at least I knew my math was actually more correct than I thought. I just didn't have the belt there. Anyway, so I just flatten this. Having a flattened ground means I can hold this. So that's fixed. Now I gotta thin my cutting edge a little bit. I don't want to put a groove right in that belt, so I'm just going to come along the back side of this. Did I say thin? I meant thicken. Here I'm putting a little bit of curvature in. There. Now, I got my magnet deal, which you can see, yeah, that's, so don't do that. But I am to make sure my little center punch deals are flat. And when you go to use this, so I know my edge is already pretty thin, so I'm going to place this not right at my edge. I'm going to place it pretty much centered. And I don't worry about this handle, you know. And I also don't worry about the profile here. I added a little bit of curvature to thicken my edge. And it's always a good idea to see how much it's going to transfer to your Platin, so you're ready for it. And this is not bad. You know, this is, so, all right. That side's done. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and down. We're done with 60 grit. 60. Correct. Because if there's any belt grooves from, you know, you tend to get a belt groove since when you're grinding, you'll see the bevel keep coming down. So I'm grinding more at the top of the belt, and I'm going to put a groove here more likely. And so it's just easy to groove a belt, and I don't want to have to fight it. So, except I'm going to go edge down because I want to hold on to this. My magnet is really determining where I'm grinding anyway. So I'm just hold on to it. Towards the tip, I'm just kind of pulling out a little bit, but really, I'm just gonna. Sometimes I walk out to the Mini and I'll click my car keys to open it, and I go, that's not right. I was kind of wanting to turn off the wrong thing to turn off my cool mist. I'll pass this around, and you can see that's pretty damn thin. That's a bit thin.
Oh yeah.
Can you see that flexing?
Holy smoke, yeah.
So they're basically done. I mean, I'm gonna run another grit. I'm gonna throw a gator, probably A100 and an A65. And then I'll bring my profile in the doctor. I'd rather thicken my edge, or just see how, you know, sharpen it till I like it. and so I can add a little bit more curvature, which is, well, I'll just pass that around.
I'll start there. And you're gonna do the gate. You're gonna do the 100 to 65 the same way right there.
Yeah. So that's it, you know. And then I'll hit it on a Scotch-Brite and call it done. And like even the tip. Like with that, I'm so thin, you know, I'll even probably sharpen it before I'll sharpen it before I put the handle on, and then just slightly dull it. Because that way I know my edge is going to be spot on, you know, or whatever thickness. And so right now, that's like the foil edge. It needs to be brought back. But, you know, I put my finish on it. I mean, they always say you can always take more off, you can't put more on. Well, if you have a hand finish, you can always thicken it up, but you don't want to thin it back down. So I'd rather be thin, sharpen it back to safe, than vice versa. And now that's the kind of example that being that 2-inch, really, so I was 170 thousandths thick. I'd like to be more like 3/16. If I'm going to bring a bevel back 2 inches, I'd really rather be 3/16, because that's a long, tall bevel. And you can see how flat that is even. So I would kind of say, you know, as far as these go, 107. If your spreadsheet is saying less than 170 thousandths shim, I think you're planning on too flat of a bevel. Not necessarily planning on too flat of a bevel, but you would want to leave, say, your edge, say 20 to 30 thousandths thick, and then bring that in, so it has a little meat behind it. So from where I'm at now, I'm totally content with that, because I'll just back up the edge a little bit, you know. So that's no problem. I'm going to grab 2 gator belts probably. except I don't know. That's an A65. That's a pretty big chunk. So, and then the reality of it is I don't need to, the Gator just gives a nicer finish. So I'm going to go a 120 on here, which ain't going to take long. And then go to the A65, and then hit it with a Scotch-Brite, and put a handle on it. I can hand rub it, but kitchen knife.
Now, how are you gonna point this?
How do I?
With this bevel already built in now, how are you gonna build in your,
I'm just going to grind it in there.
you gonna grab from the top?
I'm going to bring most of it in from the top. You know, so most of the curvature I put in, you can't bring it all in from the top. So that's kind of what I'll do is I'll just about put that on the stone before I bring the backside in. And so I'll have it sharp before I bring that backside in. I can bring that backside in after the handle's on it, because you're going to shape everything, and I can bring that in. So with anything more worn, cleffy, you know, unless you're Damascus, which you can't do this, but I like to bring my tip in basically after I sharpen it. Because even when it's got that worn cleft, just the stone pressure, it wants to flex it away depending on how thin your edge is. Anytime you sharpen a worn clip, the tip is hard to bring down because the very tip wants to flex away from it. And so, well yeah, it's just kind of the nature of it. So I'll put this 120 on it, on here, and just do that again. And then go to A65 and hit it with a Scotch-Brite. Maybe adjust my profile, probably adjust my edge thickness a little bit here. I can add a little bit of curvature because I can thin that tip. And but it ain't gonna need much. I mean, even at the thickest point, I bet we're not more than 15 thousandths edge thickness, and the rest of it's just about zero. But anyway, I guess that's about done. I'll bring that back. I'll go one. Let me see. Yeah, that'll be